In this video, I'm going to speaking to you guys today about why you will be respected on semen retention. The number one reason why you're going to be respected when you go on nofap/retention is because you're more centered in yourself. The reason why you become more centered in your life is because you just have this aura about you that feels as if you're doing things properly. Let me explain what I mean by this. When you've been abstaining from fapping for a good amount of time, you're not watching anything, you're not on those sites and everything like that, what tends to happen is you become a super present, structured, centered version of yourself. Meaning the things that you're doing, you're actually thinking about the things that you're doing while you're doing them, as crazy as it may seem, as opposed to always thinking about other things, being in this quote-unquote vibration of fear. You're always in this fear-like mindset when you've fapped recently, or you've been watching explicit material. This is what happens in your subconscious. The subconscious, okay, let's break this down into a very psychological caveman times type of biology. Biological wise, we were put on here to procreate. The number one desire and to pass off offspring, to procreate, to replicate genes, to keep the bloodline alive. So this is what usually tends to happen. So knowing this information, if we can agree that biologically we're put on this earth to procreate, and you do something as crazy as nofap retention for a good amount of time, what tends to happen to you? You become the most present version of yourself, the most direct version of yourself, and these behaviors is what's going to make you more attractive to men and women alike. Even if you've gone on retention but you're still watching explicit material, there's going to be this thing in your subconscious where it makes you feel like that. Even though if you look physically strong and everything, there's still the sense that people can walk all over you. If you didn't realize this, subconsciously, this is very subconscious. It makes people realize that they can still step over you, even though you're not fapping, but you're still watching explicit material. Psychologically speaking, the reason why this is because there's still some incongruence between who you say you are and what you're actually doing in yourself. When there's an incongruence between who you say you are and what your habits are dictating, this is when a lot of resistance comes, because you're not in alignment with your truest self. So this is why you might find yourself feeling a bit more shy, maybe timid, incongruence. The bottom line is when you start becoming more what you want to become and who you are right now, when that starts becoming aligned, you become the most fearless and confident version of yourself, because you are who you say you are. The best way to get the most confidence in anything, to have undeniable proof of who you are, is to do the things that you say that you are. If you see yourself in this ideal version, maybe you're a six-figure entrepreneur, business owner, you have a very physical, capable body, and you look good, and you're earning a good amount, and you're very charismatic. This is your ideal version of yourself. You do the things every single day in alignment with your ideal version of yourself. You will be the most confident version of yourself. The reason why I meant confident is because who they are, who they want to become, and who they are totally in congruence with each other. They practice this thing called cognitive dissonance, where what you say and your actions do not line up, and this is where the disconnect comes from. This is where the timidness comes from. This is why you might come across as shy, because who you want to become and who you are now are totally different, and you're totally lying to yourself. And this is where the incongruence comes. So the thing is, you will be respected finally when you go on retention, because who you are becoming and who you actually want to be are in congruence. So this is why you will be a lot more happier with yourself. You're smooth talking, you're the best version of yourself, because who you say you are and what you're actually doing is congruent. It's the best way to put it. So the bottom line is, people will respect you when you go on nofap retention, because you are in alignment with your highest version. You are in alignment. You have to realize the difference is when you fap recently, when you watch explicit material, you're not becoming the person that you want to be, and that's going to reveal itself in your interactions with, and maybe even men alike. You have this subconscious just of fear that you're living. And the bottom line is, if you don't do anything every day that challenges yourself, you're going to live in a state of fear, because you're not improving. If you're not improving, you're going to gradually getting worse. you're gradually getting worse, you're not going to be confident because there's nothing for you to be confident about. You have to get things, if you want to become more masculine, you want to become the most focused version of yourself, the highest, best version of yourself, you have to have an undeniable proof who you say you are and what is exactly what you are. This is exactly what you have to, this is exactly how it has to be. But the only reason why it gets to this is by putting in habitual good habits every single day that are aligned with your ideas, your ideal version of yourself. And this is exactly all it is to it. And if you've been on no fat for a good amount of time and you're sustaining good habits, other areas of your life, this is what is going to make you become the most confident version of yourself. Like I said before, if you're fapping, if you're looking at, even if you're not even fapping, but you're just still looking at explicit material, this is not going to be in congruence with your highest ideal. And this is why maybe when it comes to woman attraction, dealing with women, you come across as awkward and all these other things. The bottom line is you have to practice. I was with people this past weekend. I understand social dynamics to a very high level. I understand why things happen at a very high level. Body language, all these different behaviors. The best way you can put this as is by presenting yourself and your physical self in your best way possible, and then how you speak is in congruence of how you look. This is the best way to get the attention from women or even anybody in general. How you look in congruence with what you speak about. If it's not in congruence, there's going to be a big misconnect. And this is why people can say people are frauds, because what they look like and how they present themselves are two totally different things. So the bottom line is you will get respect on retention because you're becoming your most present version of yourself, your ideal version of yourself, and everything you're doing is becoming aligned. And because everything's coming aligned, people respect that, because there's a lot of people who are saying one thing but they're not taking the action to actually fulfill it. And this is why they come across as frauds. So you gotta practice, and it's just not about no fap and retention. It just also comes down to practicing social skills, having a good body physique, being passionate about something in your life, earning more. That will give you a lot more confidence. Doing things that you can go back and say that, hey, I'm proud of myself for doing this. If you have one thing that you can do every single day that you can go back and say, I was proud of myself for doing this, you are going to look at yourself as the most confident version of yourself, because you're doing things that a lot of other people will not do. And this is why you become confident. This is why you become respected. This is why you're becoming your greatest version of yourself. It's not just a retention alone, but all of these other habits, these things that make you they call it daily deposits of greatness that you do every single day, that when nobody's watching, this is what happens when people reveal themselves. Whatever you're doing in the dark, it gets revealed in the light. If you're doing those correct things in the dark, you will shine in the light. With that being said, if you have questions, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Check out the end-to-end presentation I have put together called the High Value Blueprint to help you gain more motivation, fulfillment in your life. We will see you in the next one.